Pat Sloan here. So today I have to show you a finish. The first thing is, because that's exciting, right? I have to show you the finish. I have the mushroom quilt. So look, here it is, binding, and I have a hanging sleeve because this will go on a curtain rod in my dining room to hang. Sometimes I might hang it in the hallway too, but I want the rod on here. And just put hanging sleeve in the search box here at YouTube. I've told you several videos on how I do this. It's just a piece of fabric that you can run your curtain rod through. So there it is. There it is. This is the second finish for 2024. And let me show you where I am. Now, I'm filming this on, what is it, Sunday. Sunday afternoon. And so I am working on the Sweater Weather, which is from a book that is now out of print, but I will link it to you because there are some resellers of it on Amazon. So I will link you to the Sweater Weather book. And this comes from that book. I think it might be called something else in the book, but I like the name of the book. So it's by Susan Aki. So this has I've got the binding on one half. So I'm using my fabric for the binding, and my Harmony wide back. Isn't that blue gorgeous for a winter, blue and white? I'm just loving it so much. And so this was done with all kinds of different scraps. Doesn't it like sparkle? Looks like snow. Sparkle, sparkle. So I will be getting the other half of this done. Then I will do another binding. And then I will have, I think if I do another binding, I will have like 13 to do. So yeah, or 12, something. Yeah, so it's reducing down some. So that means it's kind of getting there. It's kind of doable, right? I'm getting to the point where it's not like over 20 anymore, because the stack that's under the mushroom, those are all, I'm going to show you those. I'm not sure if I'm going to show you today or another day this week, but they are all going to go to charity to bind, because they're just going to go to charity directly. So they have volunteered to put the binding on. So I will show you it. I paid to have it quilted, and I will show it to you, the quilting, and then I have binding for all of them, and they will go to the charity group who will put the binding on and then donate them. Sometimes they will donate them to an individual person depending on the quilt, and then sometimes they will give it to groups who will do a raffle or some sort of fundraiser with it to raise additional funds. So that is always great. And the people I give it to, they sort of work on figuring that out. So we have other things. The Perfect 10, for them, the ambassadors. The ambassadors are hosting a Perfect 10 book quilt along. So here is the book, the Perfect 10. And this uses a layer cake, which are 10-inch squares. They're called 10 packs, or different names from different manufacturers, but they're packs of fabric from a fabric line that are cut 10 inches. And this book gives you a whole bunch of different quilts to do with that. And the ambassadors all are doing different, there's several different ones from the book. Some are doing this one on the cover. Some are doing the French vanilla, and this one's the French vanilla. So there's that one. I have done the French vanilla, which is really good because it really showcases the fabric, because there's a very little sashing, and it's kind of fun. It's all rectangles and squares, no half square triangles. I have done this one, which is, what is that? That's the birthday quilt. I think that was the one there was the Halloween quilt that I had hanging up there in September and October. And then I've also done I think it's the banana quilt. Yeah, come on, get it. It's here. The banana quilt. This is the one I did for Christmas. That was hanging in December on my wall here, and I colored it in groupings, and then sort of highlighted that with the center dot, so that it didn't, it looked a little bit more structured, because the groupings there were groupings of color to make sort of a secondary design. So those are several of the quilts in the book. Now there is a fun ruler if you love rulers that are specific for tasks. Of course, it can be used for other things, but it's it helps you very much. It was designed to work with this book, so that is the Perfect 10 ruler. Now, I am thinking, because I could do a whole, I could do different things. But what I decided, I have until next week, but I think I'm going to do the horse blocks. But you see, I started the horse fabric with this block from the Jolly Bar book. This is a Jolly Bar book, and I started with this block here. So let me show you. I just only ever made 2, because all the fabrics for the horses, all the horse fabrics, I'm pretty sure all of them are directional. And blocks for these types of quilts tend to be rotated and turned. And so I do not want horses sideways like this. No, 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 we cannot do that. And so I got these 2 done, and then I kind of stalled and I moved on to other things. And so now I want to come back around, and I had suggestions from the ambassadors to do the French vanilla, which I could, if I did the French vanilla, let me grab that one. We did the French vanilla. Kathy, our ambassador Kathy, suggested that I maybe do each block and I don't rotate the fabrics, but because they're also squares, I could just shuffle them a bit, so that's, so they're occasionally like some different. That would be a lot of thinking. Or if I just set them side by side without rotating the blocks, just they would all be exactly the same, kind of like almost like a tile work or something like that. Or I could do maybe one row one way and one row another way. The other thing is I could just use the blocks I was doing, because what I was thinking I would have to do is very similar to what I was doing with the mushroom. I'll probably do something from the Perfect 10, and these 2 will probably just go in the part center. But just the massive part center up there. See, in here, all these blocks. I don't really want to put anything in the part center. They could just go in the back, maybe somehow. Maybe I probably use a wide back though, so I'm not sure. I don't need them if I'm using a wide back. This is my wide back fabric. The green is my Harmony wide back. And so as a sashing for the horses, the different horses fabric, I think it's going to still work really well, because I really didn't want black, because it'll go to a girl. It's either going to go to my great niece. She may have outgrown horses, so if not, it'll go to Charity. But whichever, I don't really want black. So I thought the green would be good because it's like grass, like the grass and the horses. So that seemed to make sense. It makes sense. But no matter what, any of these patterns, if I decide just not to rotate the blocks, set them side by side, then I can just easily make the horses. Otherwise, what I'll have to do is do a row, look at the position of the block, and then rotate my fabrics to take advantage of that. Seeing how like these are squares, like if this quilt was rotated, let's see, I can just show you on this block. If it was rotated, the thing is the rectangles are the issue, not the squares. The squares I could easily have rotated them, right? I could just rotate those squares before I sewed them. It's the rectangles. I would have to cut, like this one, because they're the same size, I think, yeah, they're the same size. See, this guy could go up here and that guy could go down there for a rotated block, so that they would be in the correct position. So like this block is easy for that. I think this would be pretty much the same. If I had a vertical, like on this yellow one, like a vertical that they were going to be sideways, I would just use it in a different position where they're horizontal. I would just flip them and move them where they needed to be. So that's a lot of analysis, a lot of analysis. But when you have directional fabric, it isn't straightforward. You do have to think about it. So here's like another, I just happen to have in the bin. It's like, here's another piece of the horse fabric. That's the wintry one, and it has, it's all directional. So, I don't want horses and trees like this in the block. So there you go. There you go. All right, let's go on to what is today. Today, let me just get cozy here. Let's just get cozy for a second because we have a couple other things. So our celebration for today is winter sports, basically. Skiing, snowboarding, ice skating. And I looked around and I know that there are a couple of interesting blocks that I have always loved that are out there. So let me show you those. This one is kind of the mountains. This is the basic mountains, and it is called Mountainside by Lila Boutique, and it is something you can do as a download. So I wanted to share it because I just thought it was a little bit more contemporary and had that sort of nice clean look. So if you're looking just for like, and you could do your mountains in spring, it didn't have to be winter sports, but I really like this mountain pattern. Okay, these next two I'm going to show you are from Amanda Murphy, so you have to go to Amanda's website, which is linked in the description box below. I've seen both of these quilts in person. The first one is her applique with all of the different sports. If you have somebody into these sports or if you yourself love them, this is just a gorgeous applique quilt. The other one is a pieced quilt, which in person, and it is just so unique, and it has such a cool design with that angle, and she said that was to signify like the slopes of the mountains. And so I just thought, and I think it's called Slope, that one is actually called Slope, and so I just thought that they were great patterns. So what today I want you to do is, in the group, if you have a quilt with skiing, skating, snowboarding, it can be the fabric, it can be the shapes, share that. I think it'll be really fun to celebrate winter sports today. All right, we have some more stuff. The Cupid box is out. Well, it's not out for pre-order. So there's a pre-order for the Cupid box, which is from the Fat Quarter Shop. It is their mystery specialty box. They do them at Christmas, they do the 4th of July, and they do this Valentine one. And so you can pre-order, and then when it comes, then you purchase it and ship it. So I've got the link to that. And there's a free Valentine pattern. It is called Made with Love. Look at this. Look, Made with Love. So this is a free pattern. You can download it right now and make the banner. So I'll be starting this. Whether I start it next week, that's a probability. Or later the next week, maybe. I have to put it on the calendar. I knew it was coming, but I didn't know when the pattern would be available. So it is there now. Yay! And you can get that. And I will put that in the current projects on I Love to Make Quilts. So that'll be up there. Now I have some Q&A for the applique. So I'm just going to do those now because you might have more of them. So that means you really need to be watching the videos all the time, which I'm sure you are. So first one is from Gladys. These are all on YouTube These are YouTube comments. I have 4 of them. Gladys wanted to know if the fusible applique will fray. Okay, so let me just hold this up here so that you can see the stitches. Now my stitches, between each of those stitches, it is raw edge, and that is probably like an 1/8 of an inch space. There's a stitch and there's an 1/8 of an inch space. So let's think about this logically. If you have stitched this, the stitches are holding it down. The fusible stuck the 2 fabrics together. I'm assuming, Gladys, you have done this applique so that you know what it looks like. If not, please do it so you understand the process, because me just telling you is not going to be enough. You need to physically do it yourself, do the shapes. So when you stitch this, that little 1/8 of an inch between is raw edge. In order for that to have the ability to fray, you would be needing to wash this quite a bit, enough that the fusible underneath would start to dissolve away, basically, with the agitation of the washing or the heavy use of your quilt. Like you would be using it a lot, like all of that. If you put this on the wall and you never do anything, it is not going to ever fray. Even if you washed it gently, it would not fray. It will maybe have a few threads come between the 1/4 of an inch after you have washed it a ton and handled it and used it like this a whole ton. So when you do applique quilts, many of us do not do them as heavy use quilts. They are done for more decorative pieces or specialty heirloom pieces that you don't expect people to heavily use and heavily wash. So those are the things you have to consider and think about. Okay, second question is from Carol. She says, when I cut that away, and there was just that little rim of fusible. Hold on, let me show you. So when you have this little rim, what's under the paper is what the fusible is, what's under the paper. And then your stitches are going over top of that little bit of fusible. And she says, well, why do you need that? Because there's very little of it. It's because if you don't have that, think about it, it's making it flat and firm. If you don't have it, as you're trying to stitch it down, it is going to buckle, just like if you never basted your 3 layers of a quilt and tried to quilt it, it would buckle and move. This locks it in place. Try it, do a little sample, take a shape, don't fuse it, don't use anything, just lay the two together and try appliquing it down by machine. We're talking about by machine, we're not talking about handwork, by machine. Try it and see if you enjoy the process. I think you'll find that it moves and lifts and will not lay flat. And so your work is not going to be probably as nice as you would like it to be. It'll probably end up with puckers and things like that. Okay, what color am I using for my background? Same color, I have them all cut out. Same background, all 9 blocks for the breakfast quilt. All 9 blocks are the same background, which is my Promise Me. And the last question, if there's wrinkles in the heat and bond, can you still use it? Yes, but hold on. So like I mentioned to you, when I was doing the demo the other day, if you have a fold of some sort, like just crease it. Those of you who have some heat and bond, crease it. And wherever that fold is that you made, that crease, there is the potential for the paper and the fusible to separate before you want it to separate, which means before you fuse it, before you heat it up. It may come apart. It doesn't usually, but that is your weak spot anytime you have a crease. So I tend to always want to use them rolled and not folded if forever possible, but there are packets that come folded. They're perfectly fine. It just means that you might have some of the fusible and the paper separate at that crease, but it doesn't happen very often. So there you go. That is all the questions. Now the other thing, let me just show you one of the quilts, maybe 2 of the quilts I've got back here. So let me get them. We'll do all of them. There's 4 of them. So let me move them. The first one was from the Holiday Hoopla book, Quilt Along, where we took the parts of different blocks in the Holiday Hoopla book and did the quilt along. Mine is with French General fabric, which is just so gorgeous and so classic. I really, really enjoy doing this one. It is a lot of fun. That book is out of print, but you can get it on Amazon. I'll link you to that so you can pick it up. And I'll link you to the project page for this, which has the layout. So if you have the book and you missed doing this one with me, you can make your own. And here's the back. So this one, and then what I have is for each of these bags of batting and some other pieces, depends on each one how much extra stuff I had for them. Okay, next one is one that originally I had thought to give to a certain place, but it turns out they can hang it. So that happens sometimes, things change. So this is from the Stronger Together, which was a charity fundraiser that we did. And I love the mountains. I think this is a gorgeous one that can go to any kind of person. I think it can go to a child too. So it'll be great for the charities to use. Okay, Another quilt along that we did together. This one was Sweet Dreams. And another bag of parts. So Sweet Dreams. This has such a pretty fabric. Very, I would say very girly. Let's go. Here's the top. This is kind of girly, right? Pinks and big florals. So there we go. There we go. And it is backed with my Harmony wide back in like a pearl. So just one color. Look how beautiful that is. So this is a nice big one. So it might be one that they use for a fundraiser since it's got a nice size to it. Oh, I knocked my block down. Those have got to get sewn. And then the last one is our dog quilt. There we go. Let me show you the quilting up close. This is the Wiener dog. This was so fun. We sewed this one together. We sewed all these together. But look at it's got, here, I'll show you on the back. It's got little paws and dog bones. Look how cute that is. And so the whole thing is quilted. And this one will also go right to charity. On the back is I had a big piece of Harmony wide back, but I didn't have quite enough, so I had a piece of my, I think that's the Promise Me in green that I put at the top because I was using a leftover piece of wide back. So, okay. So those are all going on the stack with the other quilts that are going to charity at the end of the month. All right, my friend. Oh, wait. Two things came in the mail. This is from Rhonda in Livermore, California. This is from Rhonda in California. So she said, so pretty. And then a California Starbucks zippy pouch. Look at that with a sweet card inside, there's a Starbucks card inside, a California one. I love these specialty ones. They are so cool. I keep them. I don't know why, but have a stack of all of kind of the specialty ones. So nice. And then I have from Wanda in Texas, who painted some cards for me. Look at this. Aren't they sweet? Oh my goodness. Wanda, they are so sweet. You are so talented. Then she also sent me a pretty scarf. Look at this. That would go with what I'm wearing, right? Look at that. And a sweet little pattern she thought I might enjoy. So thank you. Mwah. All right, my friends. Lots of fun stuff for you to do. I hope that you join in on the Ambassador's Perfect 10 Quilt Along. They are hosting it. So I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.